What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. As we continue on with our Indie Comics weekend, we are jumping into Inferi issue number 2, another story by Ruben Romero, aka Ruben the Writer, also written and created by Casey Bowker, with artwork by Rodrigo Quantico, colors by P.H. Gomez. Letters and design is Dave Lentz. If you didn't catch issue number 1, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It'll get you completely caught up on everything going on with this amazing magical story. Ruben the Writer also has some stuff in Kickstarter currently ongoing. That is The Illusion Witch, issue number 4 and 5. You can check out the link down in the description and go support this Kickstarter. Now, under the publisher of Behemoth, they have found themselves in local comic book shops as well as preview worlds, with issue number 1 of The Illusion Witch releasing on June 15th. This is a guy that you're gonna want to follow. They have been putting out banger after freaking banger, and it is only a matter of time before this guy is gonna be huge. Now, when it comes to issue number 1 of Inferi, what we ran into is a great introduction to all kinds of magic and craziness. 3 students, they solve something, a cryptic puzzle that only very few individuals can actually accomplish. The professor, he is the one that runs this test, and now that they have passed it, he introduces them to the world of magic. Be sure to buy the comic, support the industry, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so this story is going to be telling us about how the professor's story really started. That takes us all the way to 1935. Somewhere in South America, a very young and naive man in this world. He had followed a shaman's instructions, and in doing so, he found something. He found a doorway. This doorway, it took him to what is known as the Council. This is the day that it all began, jumping us 4 years into the future. Our professor has been slicing and dicing all of the mystical enemies of the Council. Every monster, every creature that would try to come up from the darkness. And after 4 gruesome years of this, he goes to the Council with the plea, asking them to bring someone else on, that he can no longer do this alone. With each year, the threat continues to grow bigger and bigger, believing that the Council is too far removed to actually understand what is happening out there. And they tell him, when they brought him on board 4 years ago, they granted him extended life. Not immortality, but just the ability to live a very long time. But what they have discovered is that Nazis have been using mystical abilities to win and wage their war on humanity. And so they will grant him one individual, somebody who was raw, very untested, but has an unlimited amount of potential. With our professor going and recruiting this woman, the 2 of them, they cut their way through Germany, as Aster and the professor make their way through all of these Nazis. With nothing but bodies left in their wake, they go toe to toe with a blood demon. Taking down that demon, we are thrown 3 years into the future. The war is over, and the professor and Aster, they head to New York. And what we see is the 2 of them falling in love. Being stuck in the trenches after all of these years, fighting side by side, he bends down on a knee and he proposes. And over the course of the next 23 years, his life was like a dream. The 2 of them working for Sky, hunting down any monsters that would come into this world. They were inseparable. But one day on a mission, this is when she starts to get a cough. This cough, it does sound a little bit bad, but she says that it's nothing. It's nothing to concern yourself about. Let's continue on our mission. That mission, of course, was returning the missing artifact to the Holy Beast. With this artifact given back, what we saw is the end of the Vietnam War. So these 2 have played a very intricate part in all of history. It's letting us know that these monsters, they were so powerful that their anger, their obsession, upsetness, it all led to the anger of humans. The emotions flowed into them, and this is what started the war. But even with that artifact being returned, the humans still fought each other. Because while the war may have ended, the fighting between individuals still was a lingering residual thing holding on to them. And while the two of them, they have a very quick vacation on the beaches of Vietnam, as they have a discussion, we see a doorway open up. We see the faceless man come out of this, and he goes running, not really understanding what is going on here. He goes from one doorway to another. He disappears, and Aster, she falls down to the ground. This is where Aster reveals that she has had cancer for many, many years, never wanting to concern him, never wanting to worry him. She had kept it a secret. Taking us to 1977, our professor is pleading with the council to save her life, to do something, but they let him know that there is nothing they can do. They can grant extended life, but they cannot stop the natural order of things. If they become sick, if they die of natural causes, there is nothing that they can do about this. After her death, this is where he spiraled down a very, very dark hole, using a concoction that was created by werewolves. It more or less erases your moral consciousness. Werewolves had created this because when they turn back into human, that morality sets back in and they feel horrible for the things they did as a werewolf. He's using this just so he can go completely numb to the entire world. And this numbness, it made him violent. It made him dangerous. Having some kind of creature control a human, he has come here for information, like a parasite hooking onto a host. Our professor, he is threatening to kill the host. Trying to get any information that he can possibly get from this thing, he pours gasoline all over the human and he lights it on fire. In his endless hunt for the faceless man, he is willing to do whatever it takes to find him. After this creature divulges what it knows, he puts a bullet into the host. As the years continue on, he really goes down a very dark path. This is when one of the council members, they come to him, letting him know that the council, they want to sever ties with you. They want to call it quits, but I'm going to give you the opportunity. This opportunity comes in the form of new teammates, not replacements for Aster, but an opportunity to really build something new. And that takes us to 1987. He works for Quantico, working as a professor here, seeing if anybody can pass the cryptic test that he has created. This test will let him know about the new teammates that they're gonna bring on board. This is his road to rehabilitation. But not only that, they're gonna give him opportunities to go out and let some of that anger go, giving him missions from time to time to hunt down creatures and monsters that have made their way to this realm, knowing that a great war could very well be on the horizon. Him and Aura, the fairy companion that he has, they have been gathering all of the weapons and armor that they are going to need to battle what comes. Though they don't have the teammates just yet, he is getting all of the armament prepared and ready for battle. As they get closer to the faceless man, this is his overall objective. No matter what beasts and monsters or evil is trying to come at them, at the end of the day, he seeks revenge, blaming the faceless man for whatever happened to Aster. And that's what more or less brings us to current time. Now, there's definitely a lot of missing information. The professor isn't divulging everything on day one, skipping over most of the 90s, skipping over the idea that he, on a drunken binger, just straight burned somebody alive, sending every one of them home, telling them that they need to seriously think about this. If you're going to join the team, you are on the team. This is your last chance to walk away. He has an incantation that will remove all memories of these events. Any information that he has divulged will be obliterated. And so while the three of them, they go off in their opposite directions, picking up with our young woman Neelam. She went for a walk just to try to clear her head, to try to figure out what all of this means. She did let the others know if they decide that they want to do this, that she's on board. But right now, she just needs a breather. As she walks down the road, she runs into a very young blonde woman. She tells her that they would like to see you. Leading her down an alleyway, we see a portal open up. We see the faceless man, and she goes inside. And that will be the end of this issue. So far, I am thoroughly enjoying this, especially the artwork. This series really does have tons of potential. When it comes to issue number 1, we really didn't understand what the heck was going on. It was putting you in the shoes of the student because they didn't understand what was happening either. When it comes to issue number 2, this has really divulged so much for us. That's more than likely why issue number 1 and 2 had been released on Kickstarter at the same time. And so with the professor giving us so much information all the way from 1935, fighting Nazis, going to Vietnam, ending the war, taking these monsters on, doing all kinds of craziness. This is him kind of passing the torch. The council not wanting to get rid of him for all of his decades of long, hard, really dangerous work. And after everything that he has lost, they want to give him the opportunity, the chance to train the next generation. It's going to be very interesting to see how the faceless man plays out. Is he working for the council? Because the blonde lady did say that they want to see you, meaning more than one individual. Could the faceless man be working for them? Have they been lying to the professor after all of these years? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. Be sure to follow Ruben the Writer on Instagram, Facebook, all of that good stuff. Be sure to check out The Illusion Witch issue number 4 and 5. It is currently ongoing in Kickstarter, and they could use any support that you are willing to give. If you enjoy the content that we have coming out, considering donating using the super thanks button. This will let you donate directly to the channel, and every little bit helps us out. If you can't do that, do me a favor, hit that sub button, like this video, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.